Hey guys, this is Kyle Maddock from a podcast of Ice and Fire, and you're listening to the news from around Westeros. If you guys haven't heard of ValerianSteel.com, I highly recommend checking it out. This site makes awesome swords and weapons and different things, and just recently they made a Stark infantry shield. Got a direwolf sigil on the front. It's made of cold rolled steel. That one doesn't roll off the tongue. It's 12 pounds and it's got 3 slots in the back to hold your swords. Because we've all got swords lying around the house. You can head over to ValerianSteel.com. They're taking pre-orders for this. It's expected to ship in the spring and it'll set you back a cool $300. But, hey, you got a pretty awesome shield. Starting this week in Toronto, HBO has a traveling exhibit for Game of Thrones. This exhibit is packed with awesome things. It's got costumes, props, weapons, armor, all the cool stuff from Game of Thrones. It's got a Blackwater interactive experience, whatever the heck that is, and it's got the Iron Throne itself. Man, that thing gets around. I really hope they're bleaching that. You don't live in Toronto, you say, and you want to go see this thing? Okay, so after it leaves Toronto, it's going to New York, Sao Paulo, Amsterdam, Belfast. Wait, there's no LA? Why isn't it coming to LA? Damn, as if there wasn't enough drama in Game of Thrones already. Imagine if it all happened in high school. There's this really cool video going around the internet right now called School of Thrones. It's this really well done fan-made video. It takes the characters of a Game of Thrones and puts them in a current high school setting. So all the different families or different cliques are all vying for the prom crown. Now I know that Game of Thrones fans are going to be a little bit mixed on this one, but it's worth checking out for yourself to make up your own mind. And I gotta say, the title sequence alone is worth checking it out. South by Southwest kicked off this past weekend in Texas, and with it a Game of Thrones art exhibit. Mondo's Game of Thrones Art Gallery. Now there are some pretty cool pieces in here, and they're all limited edition, so if you're willing to drop between $2,000 and $15,000, yeah, that one right there. You can head over to mondotees.com and check out what they've got. Oh yeah, and also debuting at this art gallery is the new Game of Thrones beer. It's the first official Game of Thrones beer, the Iron Throne, and I quote, "A delicate but piercing golden blonde ale with noble hops, a nod to having a Lannister currently on the throne." Speaking of Texas, if you live in the area, specifically around Texas A&M, George R. R. Martin just announced on his Not a Blog this morning that he'll be visiting that area March 21st through the 24th for various signings and speeches and readings and anything else he feels like doing, because he's the man. So if you haven't met the big guy yet, feel free to head over there and check it out. Hey guys, if you're anything like me, you're having a damn hard time keeping up with all the interviews happening before the Season 3 premiere. It's just so many of them. How am I supposed to... But just yesterday, Entertainment Weekly started doing one interview a day with a different cast member every weekday up until the Season 3 premiere. Yesterday we had Gwendolyn Christie interviewed, so why don't you go check those out if you're interested. Alright guys, no big surprise here. I'm not a huge Facebook gamer. I know. But I was willing to put all my dislike aside last month when Game of Thrones Ascent Beta came out. Now I gotta admit, I was having some fun playing this game. That's of course when it was playable. See, the servers have been up and down and left and right. I don't know if they weren't expecting this many die-hard Game of Thrones fans, but it is beta, you gotta remember that. Now they've been doing a fairly good job of getting things back up and running and keeping us gamers informed of what's happening. So kudos to you guys. Just yesterday they released Volume 2, Chapters 1 through 4, The Night is Dark and Full of Terrors. And now you can head all the way up north to Winterfell and Beyond the Wall. Last year we were treated to the Nationals performance of The Rains of Castamere, and this year we have an even bigger Song of Ice and Fire hit with The Bear and the Maiden Fair, performed by none other than The Hold Steady. Who? What? This is one of the most popular songs in Westeros, beloved by nobles and commoners alike, sung at taverns and feasts and etc. We wanted our rendition to be bawdy and a little sloppy, drunken musicians getting up on the table and jamming while the rowdy party continues around. Sounds good to me. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, check this out. So right now, our very own Mother of Dragons, Emilia Clarke, is performing on Broadway in Breakfast at Tiffany's. And already security has been beefed up because people are trying to snap naked photos of her. Apparently there's a scene where she slips out of a towel and into a bathtub. Okay, Broadway goers, I got a little secret for you. There's a show on HBO, it's called Game of Thrones, and in season 1, and I believe the very first episode, there is a scene where Emilia Clarke slips off her dress and in all her gorgeous naked glory slowly walks into a bathtub. If you're that big of a perv and you really need to see some nipples, I highly recommend buying the first season on DVD. You can watch it, you can rewatch it, you can pause, you can zoom, you can rotate, you can probably print it out and hang it on your wall, and you don't even have to run the risk of getting publicly humiliated and even arrested. Although, maybe that's the fun of it. Alright guys, that's all the news for now. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this will become a regular thing. Feel free to write in the comments below. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see, suggestions. Also guys, let me know if you'd pay $15,000 for this. I'm Kyle Maddock, and you've been listening to the news from around Westeros. We got a plane flying by, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Man, I recorded this whole thing yesterday, and I did it in front of a green screen because I thought I was smart enough to do that. Yeah, apparently not so much. Okay, is that plane gone? Alright, here we go.